police have defended shooting dead two dogs and tasering the owner after a woman was bitten in East London. This all comes after new data revealed that dog attacks have increased by over a third in the last 5 years. So what do we do about it? Do you think we need tighter regulations on all dog owners? Joining me on the show, Ryan O'Meara, founder of K9 magazine, and the man known as the dog bite solicitor for his expertise in animal law, James McNally. Good to have you both on the programme. Let's talk to James first of all. James, I'm sure you've seen this footage. It's working its way around the world. Everyone seems to have seen it. And it's the police shooting dead in plain sight two dogs. It's not absolutely clear what they did to deserve it or what the police thought they did to deserve it. What do you see here watching this particular film?
I think it shows kind of the culmination of the last kind of few years and the problems that have been arising in terms of dog ownership in the country. I mean, it's an issue which really is out of control. You know, as you said, there's been a rise in a third of dog bites. We as a company deal with looking at getting compensation for people who've been injured by dogs. And we've just seen a huge increase. You know, since the start of the pandemic, we've seen a noticeable increase in the number of people being injured.
Is that anything to do with all the people who decided to go out and buy a dog during the pandemic? Because if they had a dog, then they had a reason to go for a walk because they had to walk the dog, and also they were stuck at home and they thought they'd get a dog. Is that what's gone on? So are we then led to believe that lots of people acquired dogs without having any real idea how to train them or how to keep them under control? Is that what's gone wrong?
That's exactly the problem. In 2018, 2019, EFRA set up a committee to look into issues with the Dangerous Dogs Act and what changes needed putting into place. And a lot of the problems they found were problems with breeders, problems with lack of knowledge for dog ownership. And they put forward proposals to the government as to what changes should be made. Unfortunately, none of those proposals were ever put in place. But then what happened was we had the pandemic, and all of the issues which were a problem before, all of a sudden you had 1 million, 2 million more dogs in the country, and it's just exploded. So the problems that were there with breeders became a huge issue because everyone wanted dogs. So you got more and more irresponsible and illegal breeders coming into play. You had people getting dogs without really thinking about the responsibilities, without thinking about the type of dog that they should be having, without thinking about training, without thinking about insurance. And yeah, we've got to where we are now.
And in your opinion, and this is what you do for a living, you're known, I'm sure you're loving that sobriquet as Mr. Dogbite. I mean, it's got to be good to be known as something. But what do you think ought to be done to stop this? We're often told there's no such thing as a bad dog, only a bad owner, and there's no such thing as a bad breed, only bad owners. I don't know whether you think that's true or whether the sorts of bites that you're having to deal with legally are very often inflicted by the same breeds of dogs. You'll have to tell me.
No, I mean, 100% of the cases that we deal with are entirely avoidable. You know, if everyone who owned a dog put a letterbox cage on their letterbox, we wouldn't have anyone being bitten putting letters through the postbox.
No.
You know, if everyone who had concerns about dogs when they exercised them, kept them on a lead or used a muzzle, we wouldn't have those issues. If people had the right dog for their lifestyle, we wouldn't have these problems. So, we see people getting really quite horrendous bites from a huge variety of dogs. There's no one breed which is causing the problems. The bigger the dog, the worse the bite. So if you have a big dog like a husky or an Akita or something like that, they only need bite you once and they can be causing real severe problems. And so that's the concerns, I guess, in the media with bully XLs and things like that. They're big, powerful dogs, so it doesn't take much for them to inflict real severe problems. But breed-specific legislation, it's a bit like trying to enforce or control problems with speeding on the road by banning Ferraris. It's not going to solve the problem. It's a kind of quick fix, and it will get you the headlines that you want and I guess, as a government, you can be seeing that you're doing something about it. But as we've seen, they banned certain breeds in 1991. We've still got an issue. And if anything, it's got worse.